We will use your email address only for sending you newsletters. Please see our privacy notice for details of your data protection rights. Could not subscribe, try again later. Invalid email. Coronation Street is at the center of a row after Maureen Lipman's character made an insensitive remark about IVF babies. Viewers besieged watchdog Ofcom after Thursday's episode, shown during Fertility Awareness Week. Lipman's character Evelyn Plummer discussed how Gemma Winter had given birth to quadruplets. Plummer said, "You can't move for twins and triplets these days. At least she did it the old-fashioned way and not through, IVF." Some viewers said it was insensitive to couples struggling to conceive and vowed a boycott. Yesterday Ofcom had received 60 complaints. One fan blasted the insensitive scripting, saying, "ITV shame on you, it's Infertility Awareness Week, not mock infertiles." Another disgusted viewer said that he would never watch the show again. IVF isn't a choice. "My wife and I struggled with the postcode lottery and found out we could not have kids even if we paid for IVF," he said. Tone Jarvis Mack, of the Fertility Foundation, said, "It's sad to see a popular show making such disparaging comments on a subject that affects 1 in 6 people who'd love to have a baby the old-fashioned way. I'd have hoped the researchers would have taken the time to understand the emotional roller coaster couples are on when facing the fact the only way to start a family is through IVF." Ofcom said, "We're assessing these complaints before deciding whether to investigate." Coronation Street had 1,098 complaints last year, 214 of which related to the date rape of David Platt. Coronation Street's Ali Neeson turns to Maria Connor for support next week as he fears that his career is in jeopardy. Ali, James Burrows, needs a friend after being reported for misdiagnosing Emma Brooker, but when he chooses to confide in Maria, there's a chance that old feelings could rise to the surface again. In the wake of Ali missing the signs that Emma, Alexandra Mardell, needed emergency medical attention, her father Steve McDonald remains on the warpath. When Dr. Gaddis pops into the cab office, Steve, Simon Gregson, takes the opportunity to quiz her over how the situation was mishandled. Dr. Gaddis is shocked to hear of Ali's mistake and decides that she has no option but to speak to his bosses about what she knows. Later on, Ali is worried to hear that he's facing a potential investigation thanks to Steve and Dr. Gaddis. He meets with Maria in Victoria Gardens for a shoulder to cry on, but as conversation shifts away from his work issues, he admits that he also regrets ending their relationship. Samia Longchamben as Maria Connor in Coronation Street ITV. Related, Coronation Street lines up shock Christmas accident for Rita Tanner. As the former couple continue to have a heart-to-heart, Maria comforts Ali, but Gary Windass, Mikey North, is furious at what he sees when he walks past. Is Maria going to give into temptation with her ex, and could she be putting Ali in trouble with Gary if she does? Coronation Street airs these scenes on Monday, November 4th at 7:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. on ITV. Viewers of Coronation Street have turned on Steve McDonald for threatening to have Dr. Ali struck off. Ali missed Steve's biological daughter Emma's burst appendix when he saw her earlier that day. Steve grabbed Ali while he was shouting at him, "Credit, ITV." She was later rushed to hospital when her condition became serious, leaving Steve and her flatmate Maria panicking for her. When Ali heard, he rushed to the hospital to see how she was doing, and Steve decided to blame him for Emma's predicament, enraging fans who pointed out he had hardly been a father to Emma before. "My daughter could have died because of you," Steve shouted at Ali. Read more. Kim Marsh joined by Coronation Street co-stars at her leaving party. But as the doctor tried to explain how he didn't know the extent of Emma's pain because she didn't tell him, Steve cut him off. He shouted, "It's your flipping job to know, she's got a ruptured appendix, why didn't you help her? Why didn't you send her to hospital?" You didn't even examine her. What did you actually do? I'll tell you what you did, nothing, because you're flipping negligent. Grabbing Allie, Steve smelled the beer on his breath from his day off and accused Allie of being drunk when he dealt with Emma. And you stink of booze, he said. Were you drunk this morning when you saw Emma, or were you mooning over your ex? Read more. Coronation Street spoilers, Billy and Paul target rapist Josh Tucker. This isn't over, you are not fit to be a doctor. I'm going to make sure you are struck off, and I'm going to take you to court and sue you for everything you've got in case you nearly kill someone else's kid. One fan said, "That's right Steve, be the daddy. Hypocrite #Corey." A second said, "Suddenly Steve is Peter Andre in the father stakes? About 20 years too late I think. #Corey #Coronation Street." A third said, "Why is no one defending Allie? She was expletive, hiding the extent of her symptoms." #Corey. He pair had crossed words. Although Sinead forgave his cheating ways, many others in Weatherfield have struggled to move on from the infidelity. As the likes of his beloveds Auntie Beth Tinker, Lisa George, not letting the matter drop, Daniel fled the cobbles with the couple's young son Bertie. Upcoming scenes will see the father tell stalwart Ken Barlow, William Roach, he's not returning for his other half's funeral, but could this be because he hasn't accepted her death and is being haunted by her ghost? Read more. Coronation Street spoilers, Sally Metcalf gets revenge over affair. Coronation Street spoilers, heartbreak as Weatherfield resident returns. Coronation Street spoilers, heartbreak as Weatherfield resident returns in chilling twist? Image, ITV. Coronation Street spoilers, Sinead Tinker and Daniel Osborne. Coronation Street spoilers, Sinead Tinker passed away with Daniel Osborne by her side. Image, ITV. Envisioning his wife could lead to a return for the late character before she's finally laid to rest in the coming weeks. Speaking exclusively with Express.co.uk, Mel Pearson, online bereavement counselling led at Sue Ryder, explained this can be a very common stage of grief. During the grieving process, thoughts and behaviours may seem irrational. Mel said, the bereaved may hear and see their deceased relative and, as a consequence, might fear that there is something wrong with them. Coronation Street spoilers, Daniel Osborne. Coronation Street spoilers, Daniel Osborne left Weatherfield as he struggled with his grief. Image, ITV. Coronation Street spoilers, Sinead Tinker and Daniel Osborne. Coronation Street spoilers, Sinead Tinker's ghost could return to help Daniel Osborne. Image, ITV. Completely normal responses to grief. Mel Pearson. The bereavement counselor added, this doesn't happen in every situation, as others can feel the complete opposite. People commonly worry that they can no longer remember what their loved one looked like, or recall the way their voice sounded, and feel guilty about it as a result. Mel affirmed if anyone is experiencing such thoughts, they shouldn't worry, as they are completely normal responses to grief. If Daniel is haunted by his wife's ghost, could Sinead's angel offer him the comfort he needs to attend her funeral and give her the farewell she deserves? Don't miss. Coronation Street spoilers, Fizz Brown horrified as she suffers loss? Theory. Coronation Street spoilers, Michelle Connor star emotional over exit. Video. Coronation Street spoilers, former star returns after shock death. Interview. On his return to Weatherfield and still gripped by his grief, Daniel may look to support services to help him overcome his loss. Mel explained, interventions such as talking therapy or bereavement support may be helpful in supporting complex, irrational thoughts and feelings by providing reassurance, practical guidance and emotional support. Actor Rob, 27, recently spoke about his character's life after Sinead and the research he has done to understand the father's situation. As an ambassador of Mummy's Star, a charity which helps women and their families affected by cancer during pregnancy, the soap star detailed the conversation he had with founder Pete Walroth. Rob said, "The one thing that I asked him was whether he ever felt selfish for wondering what he would do after his wife's death. He was really honest with me and said those thoughts do go through your head, and you're consciously avoiding dealing with those thoughts, wondering how you're going to cope afterwards." Speaking of closing the chapter on actress Katie's, 26, time on the cobbles, the actor stated, "Daniel and Sinead have been on and off for 2.5 years, so obviously I am very sad to be losing Katie on set. We've had so many intense scenes and shared so much emotion that we've developed a really platonic and sincere bond with one another."